Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Turning Point, a weekly discussion about a pivotal moment for individuals in the ag biological space. I'm your host, Rhiannon Branch with Brownfield Ag News, and joining me today is Sean Blomgren from Blomgren Seed, and I will let him kick off by just introducing himself.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rhiannon. My name is Sean Blomgren. I run Blomgren Seed in Central Iowa. We are actually just in the shadow of the Central Iowa Farm Progress Show site. So we are, harvest has just started rolling around here. It's always one of my favorite weeks of the year. Kind of things are starting to get moving. Central Iowa family farm. So fourth generation family farmer. We farm a couple thousand acres right around the Farm Progress Show site. And then we are 31 or 32 years into an independent ag input business.
Very successful, Sean. So this Turning Point series is sponsored by TerraSim. Talk a little bit about your relationship with New Leaf Symbiotics.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and want to thank New Leaf for for giving us the opportunity to kind of tell our story. So, as I stated, we are an independent ag input company. We sell corn and soybeans. Primary focus would be commercial ag inputs for farmers in Central Iowa. We started working with New Leaf. I think this is our third commercial year, kind of the fourth year we've been around their organization. But they've been a significant part of our seed treatment offering. We work with them on our corn and soybean products, and really they've been very helpful for us in kind of defining our offering to our growers and kind of building out the tools that we want to offer.
Diving into the reason we're kind of calling this segment Turning Point, when you look at the steps that got you the position you're in today, Sean, what sticks out to you as kind of a significant turning point?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And as I look back kind of preparing for this, I really appreciate even just the question, right? So as I kind of think through both my relationship with New Leaf, but really just kind of how did we get to where we are today? So in my notes, I jotted down, as life would have it, sometimes you get called up early. And I think this is traditional in a lot of farms and in a lot of family-owned businesses. So unfortunately, due to health reasons and a few other things, I ended up basically taking our business over probably a little earlier than we had planned. And so when I think about this concept of a turning point, when I took our business over, we did a survey and we kind of went and asked our customers, hey, what do we do here at Blomgren Seed that makes you successful? And got a lot of great answers, kind of understood the stewardship that had come from the generation before me. Over a period of time, though, what I kind of realized is what you can do accidentally is kind of get tunnel vision. And I think this can happen in all of ag, right? In a really good way, we take what previous generations have done and we build upon that. And a lot of times we learn from the mistakes or we learn from the successes of previous generations. And so I think the concept of a turning point is fun to talk about because we got probably 7 or 8 years into running the ag input business and just went, man, we're just kind of checking the box. We're just doing what we're told. We're mimicking the people around us, and we really don't have our identity. We don't have a unique identity for our business, and that really just kind of collided with a unique time in agriculture. So we met New Leaf at a time when the two largest ag manufacturers in the world were going through mergers. And that made those relationships and kind of their offerings change. It changed a lot of the ways that the industry was looking for answers. And for us, it gave us something to go get excited about.
When we were talking about that transition for you, Sean, part of that was kind of rekindling that passion for agriculture, that sudden switch kind of, threw that off for you. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I might have my time frame off a little bit, but around what I believe would be 2018 or so, it just really kind of felt like we were in this, just kind of this rinse and repeat process, right? I mean, get excited about a new genetic, get excited about a new hybrid, but chemistry was pretty stale, technologies were pretty stale. We were kind of it's just the same thing over and over again. And I think for us, we went, man, I'm just not excited to jump out of bed and go do my job, right? And I love farming, I love the customers that we get to work with, but just wasn't really excited about the technologies. And there's a cycle in agriculture, right? We respond to needs, we come up with solutions. But for us, we actually, just the way so many things happen relationally, had the opportunity to go down and visit New Leaf's headquarters in St. Louis. I've always been fascinated with the biological space and kind of the concept of using natural or sustainable solutions to meet our needs. But for a long time, we really struggled to find those products that would gain traction. So through a relational opportunity, I went down to St. Louis and I got the opportunity to visit New Leaf's headquarters. And it really was an aha moment for me. What I witnessed when I went down there was research on par with an ag major. It was a staff and a group of people that certainly had the education and the passion to understand this, but more so, they really understood their product and what they were trying to accomplish. And all of a sudden, for me, it was just this moment where I went, okay, there are probably going to be opportunities to find solutions and partners outside of maybe just the few major ag companies that we think of. And for us, it collided exactly at a time where we needed to differentiate our offering and give our customers and ourselves something to really be excited about. And so we walked away. I was so excited when I got down there. I immediately left and I went and got a few of my partners, kind of the guys that are in my network, and said, "You guys got to come down and check this out." And it really was for us. It was a true turning point in kind of rekindling passion around just agriculture as a whole, and the fact that there's a lot of new and exciting things happening in ag.
Definitely. And I feel like a lot of people can really connect to that, refinding that passion and getting excited about something. So what has your journey with biologicals looked like since that introduction?
Can you repeat the last part of that for me?
Yeah. So what has your journey with biologicals been like since that introduction?
Yeah. So really biologicals for us, it's kind of a tale of two halves. So prior to New Leaf, and really just kind of that period of time, it was very much, it seemed like a lot of just, hey, let's try a small dose of a product. Let's see if it worked. We rarely, if ever, understood mode of action. It was just kind of, hey, let's throw something out and try it. Since then, since we started working with New Leaf, and as we've explored the broader range of biologicals, I would say there's two really exciting things that are happening right now. So we've got money, science, and a consumer desire for answers to come from different sources than they have previously. And so what's got us very excited is we now have the opportunity to find companies like New Leaf that are truly great partners, and they're truly great partners on multiple levels, right? So they're working on their own commercialization, they're working on their own products, but they're also coming alongside operations like ours and saying, hey, what do you need to be successful? What are your customers asking for? And it's really been valuable for us. I would say when I think about our kind of journey with biologicals, we had a hill to climb just in consumer confidence, right? So we want to believe first, before we go try and sell any of this stuff, we want to believe that it both works, will generate ROI, and will meet a customer need. So there was a consumer confidence hill to climb. Since it feels like we're getting near the top of that hill, now it kind of feels like that the whole world is opening up in terms of investors are looking for places to grow opportunity. Consumers are asking for better solutions, and ultimately it gives us an opportunity to go and educate ourselves and bring really exciting products to our to our end user, the farmer.
Trying these headphones, Sean. Can you hear me any better?
No, that's great. Yeah, sounds really good.
All right, perfect. Well, I knew you were having some trouble understanding me. So
No, that's
I think
okay.
we've touched on this a little bit, but do you feel that biologicals are a turning point in agriculture, and maybe kind of explain why or why not?
Yeah, I definitely feel like biologicals are a turning point in agriculture. So I think if you kind of were to zoom out and look at a timeline, there was and still continues to be a heavy emphasis on breeding and traits and genetics, right? I mean, so we've seen certainly the largest ROI or yield gain has come through plant breeders' ability to breed better plants. And so when I think about up until recently, we were seeing radical gains, and we still are. Certainly the Bayers of the world, the Cortevas of the world are doing a job of putting great genetics into the market. But really after CRISPR technology and some of the advancements we've had there, we've gotten to a point where it's not that that's not exciting anymore. It's just almost expected, right? We've seen just the ability to expedite the process of getting germplasm to the field. And so then we went through this process of technology, and all the money and all the effort was into technology. So we went through, yield monitors and precision equipment, ability to place exactly what we want where we need it. And now all of a sudden it feels like we find ourselves on this what's next frontier. And I think it's probably been going on for a couple of years, but we're just finally figuring it out now that we're going to have real solutions, real natural, sustainable, biological driven solutions. And what maybe used to be smaller, less known companies with less financial backing and less opportunities is turning into all of ag is kind of focused on this area. So I definitely feel like it's a turning point. And we're starting to wade out of just a biostimulant pool, and we're starting to say, hey, can we actually come up with solutions to specific problems? New Leaf alone is working on some really exciting technology that could either offset or supplement our need to control different things that currently we're having to do through genetics or chemistry. And so it's really exciting to say, hey, there's natural solutions out there to real problems we have, and they might come from a different place.
It can be a lot to kind of wrap your head around, new technology in general, and then this whole space of biologicals. But for those farmers or other individuals in agriculture who are kind of considering biologicals but haven't necessarily reached that turning point of being introduced or knowing what to do next, what kind of advice or information do you have for them?
Yeah, so this might be a little bit of a long-winded answer, but I'm going to kind of give you three really kind of aha moments for me. So at the ASTA conference in Chicago, I think it would have been 2 years ago, I sat in front of a panel that had Bayer leadership, Corteva leadership, New Leaf leadership, as well as a host of other major ag companies. And all of them were saying, this is the next frontier of ag. I mean, this is where our investment's going to be. This is how we're going to come up with the solutions that you need as a farmer. So walking away from that, you go, holy cow, this is no longer, kind of grandpa's crazy concoction, right? This is truly the community of ag. And when I think about when we arrive at a point, whether it's the farmer asking for a solution or whether it's the consumer saying, I would like a product made differently, as soon as we collectively look at that, the consumer wants it, the producer's willing to do it, and then the greater ag is willing to come around it, that's when we really see solutions. And I think we're at that point right now where the consumer wants food safety, they want to understand how their products are produced, they want that visibility. And the ag companies are saying, yes, we want to come alongside of you in that food production model. So that would be one, right? I mean, the industry is poised for this. It's truly where we're at. Number two, and this is one of my favorite stories. I was standing at an ag show, and a very traditional old farmer, exactly what you think of when you think of the stereotypical row crop farmer, comes up to me and he says, the problem with biological companies is it used to be easy because it was just all a scam, right? It was just easy. I just dismissed all of it. And I said, okay, so what's the problem now? And he said, well, 98% of it's a scam. So this guy sitting there, 70-some years old, saying, I recognize and realize that there are solutions. And when we look to our own business, it's not just, millennials. It's not just, 30-year-old input providers. We have a lot of, in our business, people who are at the point in their life where they're saying, I really want to understand what I'm doing to my crop, and I want to pass this concept of sustainability on. And so there's just this real desire. And so we have all the tools we need to test these products to understand them. And then the last thing I would say is follow the money in science. So if you look around the industry, New Leaf is a great example, and there's a lot of other companies in similar positions to them where the market on all sides, the science is supporting it. They're getting the backing from investors. They have the ability to go and do these things right. And so when you say the consumer's poised for it, the producer's excited about it, and then the investment exists to really do it in the right way, it's just a really exciting point. So your question, what would I tell a producer that's maybe on the edge or considering it? I would say get excited about this stuff and do the best job you can to kind of shed the historical mentality of this stuff doesn't work, or maybe it works regionally or whatever. New Leaf is a great example. When we started using their product, the first thing we noticed is it's consistent in every geography we use it in. And we cover an extremely broad area when you look at our network. And we're seeing the same thing in central Iowa that we see in Nebraska, that we see in Kansas, that we see in Illinois. And there's a lot of companies that are developing products that I think, really span the Corn Belt. And that's exciting. So follow the money, and recognize that there really is a turning point for this portion of for the market.
Sean, let's kind of look forward here. What do you see for the future of biologicals, or what would you like to see for the future of biologicals, whether that be just on your operation with your business or kind of for agriculture in general?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll start with our business. I have, when we think about the concept of a turning point, when I go back to right before we met New Leaf, before we kind of got excited about this space, we were probably at one of the lowest points we had been at in terms of really having a high quality testing relationship with our growers. And if you fast forward to today, we probably have very few acres that our business services that there's not some sort of a test going on, whether that's hybrids, chemical recipes, fertility recipes, or biologicals. And biologicals make up a majority of that. The excitement around this is really incredible. And so what it does for us, it creates a really high quality relationship with our growers, where we have the opportunity to kind of walk hand in hand throughout the growing season and say, okay, let's come up with, I don't like the term tailored solutions, but that's the term that comes to my mind. Tailored solutions for what we're trying to accomplish on any given parcel of land. And it's super exciting. We're not just selling you something off the shelf and saying, hey, Rhiannon, good luck. Let me know how it goes this fall, right? We get to spend the entire growing season working together. And it really does, it opens up this whole world. But when you ask the question about greater ag, I think the thing that is so exciting and truly encompasses the concept of a turning point is companies are looking at now very specific needs we have in agriculture. So whether that's mitigating insect pressure, whether that's helping with nitrogen management, whether it's fertility management, phosphorus uptake. I mean, the direction this is headed is we will identify specific problems and we'll come up with specific solutions. And the goal is to do those in the most sustainable and natural way that we can, which is a really exciting day for everybody, because that runs parallel tracks. As long as we can make that successful from an ROI standpoint, we also end up giving the consumer a better product. And so it's just a really exciting day all around. we used to basically assume the only thing we could do with the biological was try and influence plant biomass. And the only thing that did for us is either create yield or not create yield. So we either created yield and a product would live on, or it wouldn't and it would die. Now the industry's saying, hey, what about corn rootworm? What about phosphorus? What about nitrogen? What about water management? All of these different things that we can influence the plants physiology, and we're able to do it through, in my opinion, a better avenue.
Sean, I want to talk a little bit about that relationship you have with your customers and those growers that are, new to the biological space or have kind of been working with it for a couple of years. What kind of feedback are you getting from them in terms of biologicals? And if you want to talk specific products, that's fine, but just kind of how that's going for.
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. And I would say kind of parallel tracks. So at the end of the day, farmers are stewards of their land, right? I mean, they want to grow the best product they can. We joke about this term of stewardship because one of my customers came up with this concept. He said, this is what stewardship means. If this line is my cost, stewardship means my revenue has to be right above that line, right? So ROI is really critical. But secondary to that is management of the land, right? And what we've seen is just a real rejuvenation and excitement around the idea of working with their crops in a way. We don't just assume anymore that everything you need comes in that box, right? We assume now that there might be opportunities to do this different or better, and it might require us to add something to that box. And it's just really exciting because these guys all of a sudden are super pumped to go out and to interact with their crop in a way that I definitely don't think we were doing or not doing a great job of, maybe even just 3 or 4 years ago. So it's really cool when you can say, hey, you have an opportunity to accomplish a goal. You can accomplish that goal in an exciting way that everybody can get excited about. And one thing that, if you want to talk specifically, let's talk New Leaf's product offering. And I don't want to screw this up. So if I screw it up, somebody will have to correct it. But they've come up with ways to de-risk these opportunities, right? So they believe in their science. They have great support from their organization. And so they can come out to someone that's looking to adopt this, whether it's a business like mine or a true end user farmer, and they can de-risk that scenario, right? So at one point, it seemed like the cost of adoption or the cost of trial always fell on the farmer, right? And companies like New Leaf have done a great job of saying, hey, we're going to help de-risk and mitigate some of that so that you can try our products, but you can try it in an environment where you can get excited about it. And we're going to help prove that our product actually does what we say it does. So it's just a really good relationship all around when all of those pieces can line up.
Well, Sean, it's the middle of September and I'm talking to a farmer, so I can't help but ask how harvest is going there in Iowa and maybe how some of those crops are looking that you're using these products on.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a really good fall. It's going to be a really good fall in Central Iowa. So we're kind of a harvest update. So we've probably been combining for 3 or 4 days. I mean, we're very fresh into it. Soybeans look outstanding. We run, so speaking specifically to New Leaf, we run their soybean product on almost every acre. We have trials out of both their existing product and some pre-commercial stuff. Those look outstanding. We've used the corn product. We saw some things yesterday in their corn product that were just really impressive where, throwing a drone in the air, you can literally see each strip through the field. What's exciting when you take a global view, and we all know this in agriculture, we can control when we plant, the product we plant, and then how we manage it. And then Mother Nature gets to make a lot of decisions for us. Last year, we were the recipients of an inland land hurricane that mowed down most of our crops, which was a really frustrating fall. And this year, we're probably staring at what could be maybe one of the best falls we've ever had. And the exciting part is, when you think about the recipe or the cocktail, you say, okay, we've put everything we know and believe in into this crop. And it goes back to just the stewardship concept. These guys have seen it, they trust it, and they're using it. and the results are really exciting. So we're going to probably have on average close to one of the best soybean years we've ever had. And then our corn, it might be the best year we've ever had. So it's really exciting. And the exciting part about it is it takes each piece of the puzzle to get that right. We're 20 inches short of rainfall, average rainfall, literally right where I sit. And so you sit there and you go, the cocktail's working. We've got great genetics, we've got great equipment, we've got the technology to put it in the right place. And then we're supplementing with all these tools that help us get there. And it's pretty fun. I got to sit with a family farm yesterday that was on their second day of combining the same field because the yield was so good. It was that hard to haul it all away. And that sure is a good day when you do what I do for a living. So.
Yes, I love to hear those answers. My first year as a farm broadcaster was 2019. So you can imagine how some of those answers differed, but glad to hear that you guys are having a really good season. Sean, is there anything else that you want to add to the conversation about biologicals or those interested in the space? Any closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be sort of a light of encouragement, right? So not everything works. Not everything works all the time. Not everything works the first day. I was joking as I was thinking through, knowing that question would come up. Today, basically every one of us has adopted a significant amount of technology, right? And the first yield monitor was terrible, right? I mean, these technologies don't get introduced and they don't work overnight. It takes people with a desire to steward their land, to make investments and find great partners. For us, New Leaf has done a fantastic job of that. There are other great biological companies in the market right now doing an outstanding job. So I would just encourage you, if you feel yourself with a little bit of tunnel vision, if you find yourself going, man, I've just done the same thing over and over and over again, and it would be fun to do something different, explore some of these companies. Not everyone's going to be right for you. You've got to be able to see it through, partnership and how your management. But there are just some really exciting things out there, and I would encourage you to get outside of your comfort zone. Find companies like New Leaf that do a great job partnering, and be excited about it. Commodity prices are great. We've got the ability to go out and do it really well, and it's a lot of fun. So. Yeah, get outside of the tunnel. There's a lot of cool things going on in ag. So go explore, see what you can find.
Sean, I imagine you're happy to talk to anyone, maybe interested in this space. Can you touch on how people can get more information about Blomgren Seed or maybe get in contact with you?
Yeah. So best way to get a hold of us is probably on our website, blomgrenseed.com, on Twitter at Sean Blomgren. We've got, when I say we've got, Blomgren Seed does, New Leaf has an extensive network. I'd love to talk to you and share my experiences. Really, regardless of where you are, I'd love to explain what we've seen and how we've implemented it. But yeah, www.blomgrenseed.com, on Twitter at Sean Blomgren, and would love to connect with you guys. Appreciate the opportunity today.
Very good. Well, thank you for your time today, Sean. A great conversation. And that wraps up our first episode of Turning Point, sponsored by TerraSim. So you can also learn more information about TerraSim at terrasim2020.com. And this episode will be available to view on demand on our website at brownfieldagnews.com. Thank you all for joining us, and you can tune in next Thursday at noon for the next episode of Turning Point, and that will be with New Leaf Symbiotics Chief Commercial Officer Matt Helms. We'll see you then.